Ekabo Mokiye. Welcome to my very first video for Juju Power, Olorişa Voodoo inspired living, for our online Patreon platform. You can check us at Patreon. Juju Power, Olorişa Voodoo inspired living. Oruko Mini Baba Marcus Akinlana. Mofe Soro Nipa Oni. I want to talk to you today about Mofe Soro Oni Nipa Ori Rere. I want to talk to you today about self-confidence, belief in self, tranquility of mind, and filling up one's one's head with abundance, tranquility, itutu, highly developed state of mind, belief in self, riches, wealth, good health, and abundance. I want to talk to you today about our culture. I want to speak to you about Ifa, Olorişa Voodoo, our culture and our sometimes highly misunderstood spiritual traditions. Moni Olorişa Shango. I am one of the traditional culture keepers of New Orleans, Louisiana, here on the Gulf Coast of the United States. I'm speaking to you today from one of my favorite places, which is called Bayou Sauvage. So as an Olorişa Shango, that means I'm initiated into the culture-keeping traditions of those who are dedicated to the Olorişa Shango. And I want to speak to you today about using our culture to help thrive and survive in this lifetime, and using our culture to help build tranquility, peace of mind, and success in your life. It might seem that those are basic things, but for we descendants of Africa, that is not the case. Because one of the things that has inspired me to speak to you today is a concern that I have seen. This concern, I've seen it prevalent throughout the entire African diaspora. And that concern is a concern for unnecessary debilitating fears. Debilitating fears. I have seen many examples of debilitating fears stopping us, or like they say, the Rasta say, stopping I and I from achieving our full humanity. And I'm going to get specific now. There are many misunderstandings and lies about our African cultural genius, particularly about voodoo, particularly about Ifa, and particularly about African traditional customs and ways of life in the here and now in the modern world. Well, it would only make sense that there would be these misunderstandings because the enemies of our progress use lies and fears, the horrible marriage of lies and fears, to take us away from our center, from our inner self, from our true source of power. So all types of misconceptions have been propagated regarding African cultural genius. So one of the first things that I want to do with this platform on Patreon, which is Juju Power, Olorişa Voodoo inspired living, is to address these unnecessary fears so that we can remove them, sweep them out of the way like yesterday's old dirt, so that we can get to a clean house, so we can start this journey together of self-empowerment and belief in self. Now, one of the things I'm talking about specifically are inane fears that I want to address that are not befitting for people who understand the true nature of humanity, that we are actually children of the Almighty Creator. Omo, Olodumare Niwa. We are children of the Almighty Creator. Many times I get questions about things like this. Someone's trying to hex me. Someone's trying to jinx me. We know that in certain parts of, say, the African diaspora or in West Africa, that when election time comes, people don't come out at night because people go missing, because people are doing what we might call sorcery, which is based in the belief in lack and fear, in order to win elections. And some people think that this is voodoo and Ifa. It is not. Voodoo is the life principle that is in every living thing given to us by the Almighty Creator. That's what the word actually means. Ifa is a tradition of love, the Olorişa are beings of love that help us along with our Egun and our ancestors on a daily basis. So I want to speak to you about removing unnecessary fears in life, in this world, and particularly today, unnecessary fears that are born in lies and misunderstanding about our beautiful culture and tradition. Ashawa. As an inspiration, because this is the topic of the day, I have come here to this most fantastic and beautiful place in its post-Katrina hurricane existence. This is Bayou Savage, one of my favorite places in the world. This is the place where free Africans and free indigenous people, by indigenous people I mean the indigenous people who were here first in the Louisiana area. So you're talking about Atakapas, Homers, Natchez, Choctaws people. Free people who fled from the wars of slavery and colonization came here and lived free during the days of slavery. The awesome Maroons, they called them Maroons, from the Spanish cimarron, which means runaway. Runaway cow, actually, is what it means, but that's a name we use with pride today. The Maroons, the great Maroons, like the great Juan San Malo, with his warrior queen and wife, Cecilia, controlled these bayous and kept the colonizers out of these bayous for generations. And those Maroons fought many great battles here. They created their own way of life. And some of the Maroons, from what I'm told, didn't come out of these bayous until the 1930s and 40s. They lived free, even during the days of slavery. So I'm here at Bayou Savage. The enemies of our culture called this place Bayou Savage, which means the Bayou of the Savages in French. Bayou Savage. Bayou actually is an indigenous word that comes from indigenous people from here. But Savage means savage. So, I want to talk to you and give you an opportunity to join me in this journey of resurrecting the truth about our culture and filling our oris up with confidence, belief in self, like the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey taught, and belief in this world of abundance. Here in Bayou Savage, the truthful land of the free and brave.